Here now, Mike Gonzalez from the Heritage Foundation. Mike, you fled Cuba when you were just 12 years of age. First, I want to get your reaction to what President Biden said. It's word, but what about deed? How about walking that talk and saying and standing up not just for the Cuban people, but standing against communism?
Hi, Dagan. Yeah, you're absolutely right. President Biden's reaction came way too late. It was too tepid. He needs to have a tear down this wall moment. He needs to have his inner Ronald Reagan and stand up for the people of Cuba. The people of Cuba, what they want is freedom, political liberty. They're out there chanting Libertad, Libertad. It is correct that the government's botched reaction to coronavirus may have been the catalyzing event here. Cubans continue to die. By the way, giving the lie to the trope that communist healthcare works. No, it's a disaster. But what they want now, what they want is liberty. They're chanting for it. It pent up 62 years of frustration, living without any rights. They live in a state of terror. Biden needs to get behind the people of Cuba, make a very forceful statement. Again, as I said, channel his inner Reagan if he has one.
Let me ask you this. I just want to point this out, and people can look at the pictures. These Cubans protesting, some of them are carrying the American flag. And if you read the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, that is a controversial symbol to those publications and those in the media, if not racist. But in Cuba, it says freedom, as it does to so many Americans.
Outside of the United States and inside of the United States, the people who like freedom identified with the American flag, and the Marxists who dislike freedom dislike the American flag. It is no different. I'm so glad that this segment followed the one on CRT. It is the same fight. The American people are also waking up against CRT. Mm-hmm. The Cuban people are finally able. It requires a lot of courage to do this. By the way, they risk a lot. They risk being thrown in a dungeon with excrement, with rats, having bad things done to their relatives. They require sustenance, moral sustenance from President Biden. He needs to be very forthright and denounce communism and Marxism. One can surmise that he doesn't want to do that because he fears the left flank of his own party.
Right. And again, it would, it would fly in the face of what a Bernie Sanders has said and AOC has said. And I just want to point something out in terms of it's not just about COVID, it's about oppression and those in government and power enriching themselves at the expense of people who are living, the vast majority of people living in poverty in Cuba. Cuba has, and Mary O'Grady writes about this in the Wall Street Journal, has a scabies epidemic because they don't have, and these are skin mites. It's highly contagious. They don't have access to basic treatments, skin ointments, even antibiotics in Cuba. And why is Cuba so hard hit with COVID is because the doctors, and what is in essence slave labor, are exported out of Cuba for money, for euros and dollars, and then that money doesn't go back to the people of Cuba. It goes into the pockets of those in power. It is just mind-boggling at what the communist leadership has done to the Cuban people for more than 60 years.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. The Castro family that continues to run Cuba behind the scenes is incredibly wealthy. They've enriched themselves. They eat lobster. The Cuban people, by the way, Michael Moore and all the Hollywood glitterati and Bernie Sanders and the squad who keep talking about the much vaunted Cuban universal health care system. There you have it for what it is. People are dying. They haven't been able to resolve this pandemic. Their vaccine doesn't work. It is now so clear, and the Cuban people have said, basta, enough of this. 62 years of living without political liberty is enough.
Enough. Mike, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon. Much to talk about, sir. Mike Gonzalez.